Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we are uncovering the subtle, honestly, sometimes almost invisible, ways that people test what you will and absolutely won't accept. We're talking about the art of guarding your boundaries, which, let's be real, is a skill that might just save your sanity.
Have you ever noticed this kind of dynamic? Like that colleague who always needs you to look over just one more quick thing at 4:59 p.m.? Or maybe a friend whose jokes always seem to carry this weird, slight sting. Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating to navigate. But here is the secret. These behaviors are rarely random. They are secret boundary tests. People are actively and sometimes unconsciously mapping out the exact territory of what they can get away with.
And that brings us to the core philosophy of what we're looking at today. Your response teaches others how to treat you. Seriously, whether they realize it or not, people are watching your reactions to these tiny little tests. How you respond in these seemingly minor moments, that sets the baseline for your entire relationship moving forward. So, to help you take back control, here's our agenda. We're breaking down 5 common tests: escalating favors, ignored no's, hidden insults and digital demands, dealing with the pushback, and finally, why boundaries matter. But before we actually look at the tests themselves, what are we aiming for here? What's the goal? Healthy boundaries are simply about clearly communicating what you're comfortable with while still respecting yourself and others. A lot of people confuse setting boundaries with, building these massive defensive walls. But notice what they are not. They aren't about controlling other people, and they absolutely don't require you to be rude. It's really just an honest operator's manual for how to interact with you. All right, let's start with Section 1, Escalating Favors, the Tiny Request Trap. You see, a lot of boundary tests don't announce themselves with a megaphone. They start as a whisper. Someone might ask for a tiny favor, like, hey, can you cover this small task? You say yes because, you're a team player, you want to help out. But then they ask for another and another. A single yes to staying late one evening just snowballs, and before you know it, you're staying late every single day. Or you answer one weekend email, and suddenly, boom, you are the designated 24/7 problem solver. You end up doing way more than you ever signed up for, and your own priorities completely abandoned. So, the secret to surviving this trap? Brevity. Keep it short. When you're dealing with escalating favors, you really do not need a long, winding explanation. Just say, I can't help with that today, or I'm actually not available. Clear, respectful communication without over-explaining is your absolute best defense. Why? Because over-explaining just hands the other person a bulleted list of reasons to argue with. A simple, firm answer leaves literally no room for negotiation and decisively protects your time. Moving on to Section 2, Ignored no's. This is for when they just won't accept no. This next test is essentially a messy, guilt-tripping pressure cooker. They hit you with, oh, come on, just this once, don't be so difficult. They're actively poking at your boundary to see if it's made of stone or, well, jelly. Your response needs to be the exact opposite of their chaotic pressure. Calm, brief, clear. Something like, I understand, but my answer is still no. You just respectfully repeat your boundary without debating it. Staying incredibly calm while holding your ground sends a vastly stronger message than getting dragged into some emotional tug-of-war. Next up, Section 3, Hidden Insults and Digital Demands, or as I like to call it, the digital trap. Okay, we have all experienced this extremely uncomfortable trap. Someone makes some mean, insulting comment, they watch your face drop, and immediately throw their hands up like, whoa, I'm only joking. If you nervously laugh just to keep the peace, even though you're clearly uncomfortable, they've just learned that their behavior is perfectly fine. Don't give them that courtesy laugh. Meet them with directness. A simple, I don't find that funny, or let's keep it respectful, literally stops the behavior in its tracks. Healthy relationships can handle honest feedback. And then we have digital demands. Modern technology has created this completely false sense of entitlement to your constant availability. People will legitimately get upset if you don't answer a text or email immediately. But being reachable 24 hours a day is not a requirement of human existence. You have to protect your time and set realistic expectations for those around you. Simply stating, I usually answer messages in the evening, or I'll reply when I'm free, reclaims your schedule. Your downtime deserves fierce protection. Okay, Section 4, Dealing with the Pushback. How to react to your new limits. So, when you start establishing boundaries, especially if you've been a yes person your whole life, people might respond poorly. They really might. They could hit you with sudden anger, lay the guilt on super thick, freeze you out with the silent treatment, or complain that, quote, you've changed. Listen to me closely here. This resistance does not automatically mean your boundary is wrong. Actually, it usually just means they're grieving the loss of a dynamic where they always got whatever they wanted. They simply need time to adjust to the new reality. The golden rule for surviving this pushback phase is super simple. Stay consistent. You can be a deeply kind person and still have firm limits. Those two things absolutely can exist together. You've got to stop apologizing for the reasonable limits you set to protect your peace. If they truly respect you, they will adapt over time. But you have to hold the line while they figure it out. Finally, Section 5, Why Your Boundaries Matter. Let's talk about building healthier relationships. Setting boundaries can feel pretty terrifying at first, mostly because we naturally worry it's going to push people away. But the reality is actually the exact opposite. Establishing limits doesn't destroy relationships. It builds a foundation for much healthier ones. It drastically reduces that quiet, toxic resentment that just builds and builds when you're chronically overworked and underappreciated. It improves communication and, honestly, most importantly, it protects your emotional battery. Clear expectations are a profound kindness to everyone involved. The crucial takeaway here is that being a good, kind person does not require you to be a human doormat. Respecting others fundamentally starts with respecting yourself.
So let's quickly recap what we've unpacked in this explainer. Whether you're facing a snowballing mountain of escalating favors, a stubborn person who just ignores your no, an insulting joke masking his humor, relentless digital demands, or that dreaded emotional pushback, your strategy remains exactly the same. Keep your answers brief, stay incredibly calm, set realistic expectations, and stay consistent. Responding with steady respect is exactly how you train the world to honor your limits.
Here is the reality. You cannot stop people from testing your limits. Human nature means the boundary tests will always come, but you entirely control your response. So, taking what we've uncovered today, I want to leave you with this. What is the one boundary you are terrified to set right now? And what exactly is it costing you to stay silent? Think about it and start building those healthier boundaries today.